Welcome to the Deborah Kennedy Show. Tonight, I have a very special guest, Miss Ebba P Karlson. So excited to have you on the set.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you just have this energy, and I met you at an event that empowered other women, and we just made a connection. But you have such a good story. Something that's relevant now is a show that's on Netflix.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about your history.
So when I was 20 years old, I'm from Sweden. I lived in Stockholm then. I was approached by a scout.
A model scout.
A model scout who wanted me to come to France and work. I had a boyfriend then, and I had a job, so I was like, I'd go for my vacation there. And this scout actually took me, well, I arrived in Monaco, he was there. He didn't have a job for me. He promised a job, and later, this is the short version.
Right.
We traveled to Cannes, which is a city
Film
in
Festival,
yes,
yes,
it's in a
France.
city
Yes.
in Côte d'Azur. So where I was raped by him, and then he didn't have a job, so I asked him where's the job, and this is the very short version, but it was very scary, and I had to. We didn't have cell phones then, so I had to. Pretend that that everything was fine. I was calling my parents from a photo booth, and later on he said, "Well, we're going to go to Paris." So we flew to Paris, and there I had a casting at the world's most famous agency back then, Elite, and I came to this office. I met the owner of this agency. His name was Gerald Marie. And he invited me in, and we had a long discussion where he showed all these, back in the days they had the portfolio books, no Instagram.
Right.
And while he was grooming me, I didn't know that he was grooming me, but during this time, then he approached me and he put his hands where he shouldn't have put his hands, basically.
Right.
And digitally raped me. Yeah, so that was a shock. I was totally terrified.
So this was the second occurrence. You
Yes.
had one with the person that brought you
Yeah.
over,
Yeah.
and then one with this world-renowned
Yeah.
person that's in charge of the
Yeah.
biggest modeling
Yeah.
agency in the world.
Yeah. So that led me to be shocked and terrified and sad and disappointed, because I thought I was going to be the next Cindy Crawford, I guess. I was naive back then.
Right.
And so after that, we were also invited to his apartment. And in there were lots of different kinds of women. I was the oldest one. I was 20 years old, so I was old to be a model. But they were anywhere between, I would guess, 16. And they all came out from the apartment, some of them lived there. And then we had a casting in his private home, where we had to fill out the documents like you do, your height and your weight and everything. And then we had to undress and walk in our underwear and our high heels in front of these people. And it was so horrific. And I'm like, this can't be right. Mm-hmm. This is not the model world that I was seeing in the magazines. So after that, I was shocked, and I didn't have a ticket. I was promised a contract with a ticket, so I couldn't go home. So I was kind of stuck.
Right, absolutely.
And luckily, I met a friend from Sweden we were walking, the scout and I, in Paris, and I saw my friend, and I'm like, God, I told him what was going on. And then he approached the scout, like, angrily, like, what are you doing? You have to take care of Ebba. And then the scout pulled me away, super angry, and kind of shook me, like, don't ever lie, because I could have you killed. You don't know who I know. I know the police in Paris, and blah, blah, blah. So, that was shocking and scary. So after that incident, I pretended that I needed to, because Joel promised me a movie contract, because I was not super tall, and I was kind of athletic, so I wasn't the ideal super thin model that they were looking for.
Yes.
But I spoke French, so I could, do movies, I guess. So he said, yeah, we have this movie that you can do. Would love for you to, do that. So can you come back? Can you do it? And I said, I have to go back home, and I have to talk to my boyfriend, and I need a ticket. So I was like, yes, I need a ticket. So he gave me a ticket, and I was out. I was terrified.
I cannot imagine.
So ashamed.
At that age, when there was no phones, no communication, in a country no one, it was only a blessing that you ran into a friend.
Yeah.
And only because you promised him you were going to come back to do this, that you were set free. I cannot imagine, because 20 is such a fresh young age, especially for someone that had not experienced any of this.
Yeah.
So it had to be an emotional turmoil, an emotional baggage for you for so long.
Yeah, it was.
And you are the victim, but you felt ashamed, but you were the victim.
Yes. At that time, I didn't think so. As a victim of sexual assault and abuse, you take it all personally. What did I do wrong?
Right,
Why?
absolutely.
So at first, I blamed myself, of course, all the way, and I was so guilty. I felt so ashamed, because it was going to be my,
You were
my
gonna be a
moment.
superstar.
Yeah.
Yes, you're discovered.
And then I came back home, and I promised never to tell a soul, until my boyfriend couldn't. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" He couldn't even touch me, and so later on, he found that scout, and
Took care of him
wasn't
for
nice
you.
to him. He
Yes,
took,
exactly.
But I was very scared for a long time, and I didn't know. I thought this was the guy, the owner of this model agency, was interested in me. I thought it was just once in a
course.
lifetime. But later on, years later, I saw a documentary. Actually, it was in the newspaper. They had a raid, so they accused this guy for, I guess, drug dealing or something. And then there was also a documentary that came out that BBC did undercover on this agency. But for some reason, it never came out. Like, it was out for a while, but then it just vanished.
Right.
So part of my healing and part of my growth and spiritual growth was to write a book.
Very therapeutic. Now, I'm going to hold
Yes,
that thought, because we're going to take a quick break.
Yes.
And we're going to show some of your pictures and your footage and your book, and then we're going to come back and we're going to show how you reinvented yourself and moved forward past that. Oh, that Ebba. We're going to show a few pictures. And now I'm back with life coach Ebba P Karlson. What a story, Ebba.
Yeah.
What a story. And how brave of you to share that. And I'm sure it's healing in the process of, when you felt, I'm sure you felt abandoned. I'm sure you felt like, why me? Like, I was wanting my moment to be a superstar. And how did this happen? So tell me about your book and the moments of healing.
Yeah, so healing, of course, takes a long time. And sometimes you're not aware of how much an incident like that affected you. So, I guess the chapter about this is just, the incident is just a chapter in my book. But when I started writing the book, that was really a calling to just share my whole story of understanding who I truly am and that I have a mission and purpose. And to discover that purpose, I had to go through lots of hard incidences. We all do, right? Mm-hmm. So that day when I decided to write this chapter, I had to do a lot of research because I couldn't remember the address and I couldn't really remember exactly because I erased everything. I didn't want to remember anything, so I had to go back and remember. Then I discovered I wasn't alone. So I contacted another model who was very famous, Carrie Otis or Carrie Sutton. Mm-hmm. And she was kind enough to talk to me. And then she even asked her to write my little blurb for my book. Mm-hmm. And then I realized through her that there were more. And I got in contact with Lisa Brinkworth, who was the journalist for BBC, who did the undercover documentary.
That didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
It aired, but didn't.
Yeah. So the three of us started talking. And this was the time when Donald Trump was about to be president, or before that. So journalists were like crazy looking for connections with Epstein and Jeffrey Epstein and seeing what they could find. And so I was approached by a French journalist who did research, and then through him we understood that we have to do something about this because there must be so many more victims out there, and this man is still going loose.
Right.
And then, after a while we understood Jeffrey Epstein, he got convicted, and that led to...
He was doing the same thing.
Yeah, he did the same thing.
But he got caught.
And then we had Jean-Luc Brunel, who was another model, and both of them committed suicide. Mm-hmm. We don't know that, but... so now it's only this guy left. He's still working, and he's still... We don't know. I mean, how many more women have been abused? We don't know. But going back to the Supermodels, the documentary that just came out, we were, relieved, or not relieved, I don't know, I was shocked, I guess, also to hear that Linda Evangelista, who was married to him at the time I was there, actually also said that she was violated, which we wished we had known back before, because we could have used her testimonial.
Her voice. Yes, her testimony.
Her voice. So that felt upsetting, but at the same time we've been going to Paris, giving testimonials now, and we had a criminal case that unfortunately was closed in February. So
I hope that this brings closure for you. And I know the book is your big moment, and I know that was just a chapter, but I'm in so awe of you, how you changed your life, and how you have taken those moments to write the book and to be a life coach, to be a voice to others, to let their light shine through. So thank you so much, Ebba, for sharing your story tonight. It was such a heartfelt story, and the vulnerability of you sharing that just means so much to me and to our viewers out there.
Thank you.
So healing to you.
Thank you so much.
And I know your book is amazing.
Thank you.
So just like Ebba, who has had peaks and valleys, there is a bright star shining her way, and we can together accomplish anything. And whatever the past is the past. You are in charge of your future.
To view this entire episode, or to view other past episodes, please visit our podcast site at DeborahKennedyShow.com. You can view the complete episodes right on the website, or subscribe to the show via iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. Thanks for watching.
Art can change the world, and my special guest tonight will share with you exactly how it changed her. Miss Kathleen Fitch, I'm so excited and honored to have you on the set tonight.
I'm so very glad to be here, Deborah. You do so many things for the community. Thank you for reaching out. I'm very humbled.
Thank you. You have such a good story, and a lot of us go back to our roots and, how it just really enveloped our lives. But you go back to COVID. Your roots, and then COVID changing your life. Can you tell our audience a little bit about that story?
Well, Art and I went on hiatus for a long time.
Good way to put it.
I became a nurse and had children, and was just living life. And then COVID-19 came about. And I was really in a very deep state of depression, unfortunately. And I tried a lot of things to get out of it, as many people do, all the conventional methods. And the one thing that stuck was getting back into art. I was very fortunate to connect with a local gallery in Noda called the TAC Gallery. Sold some art there, connected with fellow artists, and everyone was enjoying some sort of respite in the midst of COVID. And we thought, it would be really nice if we had an event that was something we could bring our families to. I've gotten back into it and I'm excited about it, but a lot of the art events have been geared more so towards more so towards adults, not so much for families. So we started with a small event at Cavendish Brewing in Gastonia called Brews and Hues. We had live paint, we had artists performing musically, we had some spoken word, we had break dancers out, you name it, we had it, and free art vending, and it was a success, and from there it grew. So I would have never thought that at the age of 42, I would be starting my own arts nonprofit, diving back into art, So COVID-19, we still have a lot to heal from, and definitely there's a lot to talk about, and art does give us an avenue to be able to do that, but I'm just so very thankful.
Art gives you a voice, and I love that we were talking about before you came on the set about age. Sometimes we defy ourselves or confine ourselves to what we can do or not do at a certain age.
Yes.
And so, past history, you've tried that, done that, and love the way you just re-involved yourself in the art world because it is therapy. It's therapy in many ways. There are all these different forms of art, but it's true therapy. And it doesn't matter what type of art it is, you can find yourself again and you can heal, which is exactly what you did. And what I love about you, we have a mutual friend.
Yes, Walter.
He's a story as well at his age for the artistic ability that he has. He's always been an artist. But it is really about the story and it's about helping others. And he raves about you, how your foundation really reaches out to the artist of across the state and across the world, really, to change.
We hit on the fringe. I grew up, my high school days were in the 1990s, and so I listened to a lot of rap, hip-hop, street art. I was very much so into that, and I love to dance.
I saw a little of that. Yes, Kathleen, I did a little salsa.
Something. And so that's always been, just something playing in the background of my life forever and ever. And so when I dove into art, naturally that was the thing that I was gravitating to. And it really is a wonderful art form for free expression. In a time where we were so very restricted during the pandemic, we couldn't see our friends, we couldn't see our family, we were trapped indoors. Art, especially graffiti art, and its very free nature, gives people this fabulous voice. It is a voice for those who feel that they have none. And it just feels so very powerful to me. So we started from that base, and as a collaborative, we work with a lot of different art genres, but we definitely have a decidedly street art and graffiti art base.
And I do want to hear more about that. We're going to take a quick break and see some of your fabulous pictures and what you're doing in the community. So enjoy. Back with Kathleen Fitch. What an amazing storybook that you were telling with all your pictures and videos. And we were talking about at break about mental health and how important art can be to healing. So share a little.
Well, going back to the type of art that we are based in, it was a voice in a time of turbulence in the 1970s in New York City. Again, people who felt that they didn't have a voice had a way to be heard. And when we all felt stuck and silenced and just in this bubble in the pandemic, it was a way for a lot of artists, including myself, to feel a sense of freedom. So I connected with other artists, and I'm a talker. I don't know if you haven't.
No.
You know. I love
You can
people.
do my job, Kathleen.
But I love people, and I love that connection. I enjoy it. It is truly one of my most favorite things in life. But a lot of the artists that I was encountering, that I was meeting along the way, were wonderful people with these fabulous ideas and concepts and incredibly creative, but were so terrified. So terrified.
Which often happens
Yeah.
with artists. Honestly, you know, they're shy, they're creative, but they're shy by nature.
Yeah. Well, it's so we had, you know, it's learning a new language, if that makes any sense. We talked a little bit before the interview about finding common ground, and how that's so very important. And, you know, art is a language that everyone speaks. It is a space where we can find common ground, not just in ideas, but also in ways of life. I mean, any concept you can possibly think of, it is a bridge. So when it comes to mental health, and you're having that communication barrier where they feel like, I can't do this, I can't put my face on Instagram. Are you kidding me? You know, we've worked through a lot of that by finding those spaces of common ground. One of the events that we did, we had Julie with Unconventional Film School come out.
Oh, I love Julie. She's been a guest.
Oh, she's amazing. She is amazing. And she helped our artists craft their video artist statement, which again, if you're a shy individual who's not, you know, one who's willing to put their face out there, before you even consider doing that or write down what your bio is, you have to figure out why are those barriers for you? What is holding you back?
It's like therapy, actually.
Yeah, it truly
I mean, it really
is.
is like a breakthrough.
It truly
why,
is.
Why does this trigger me?
Yeah.
Why do I feel this way? Same with
Yeah.
art. It's all
Gotta talk about it.
you got to talk
gotta
about
talk
it.
about it, yes.
Well, I do think in today's society, everyone is accepted. I think, you know, we had so many barriers 20 years ago, 10 years ago. And now I do believe that more people are accepted that are not what we conform as the norm, because there is no norm, you know, but not all artists understand that, because if you're shy by nature, or if you're a little insecure, or just like you said, have little mental health where you don't feel accepted, you know, no matter how accepted society opens their arms to you, sometimes you don't have that inner feeling to open, and that's where you give artists a voice, and that's why you created your foundation, to give a voice to those that may not have a voice.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely feel that, but more so, you know, the greatest gift is not to do for. The greatest gift is to teach. You know, the old phrase, you know, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You know, you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Right.
So, you know, teaching people some coping skills when they're in spaces that they're uncomfortable in, such as larger social settings, or, you know, in an interview like this, or if they're crafting that video artist statement, things like that, to teach them some small little coping mechanisms, like close your eyes, take that deep breath, breathe in like you're smelling the roses, breathe out like you're blowing out the candles, let your mind empty and relax.
A little meditation.
Right, a little bit of
It goes a
meditation.
long
So
way.
there's so many
Right.
tools. There's so many tools that can be used. So I want to, I don't want to help so that, you know, I'm doing for. I want to
Right.
enable. Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you for stopping by the set tonight. I love what you're doing. We hope that you'll invite us to some of your events, and maybe we can cover them, because what you're doing is amazing. And it's not only helping our community, but it's helping the world heal. So thank you,
you so
Kathleen.
much.
You're just a breath of fresh air. I love you.
Mwah.
Oh. So Kathleen, changing the world, one artist at a time.
If you are in the fashion, art, or entertainment industry and would like to be a guest on The Deborah Kennedy Show, just go to deborahkennedyshow.com and you could be a guest just like me.
Hi, I'm Valerie from V Faith Yoga, and today I'm going to show you how to twist it out with 3 twisting poses. So twisting poses are really good to exercise your spine and to twist out those organs and massage your organs. So it's good for your digestive system, and it's also good to stretch out those muscles in your upper and your lower spine. So the first twist that we're going to do, we're just going to inhale through our nose and lengthen our spine. On the exhale, just twist your body to the right. This is called easy twist. Send your gaze out over your right shoulder. So just feel that nice, gentle twist in your left side body. Good. Coming back to center. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Let's do the other side. Exhale, twist to your right, sending your gaze over your right shoulder. Good. Coming back to center. So this is one twist that you can do. You can hold here for a few breaths, or you can do that several times on each side. Another twist that you can do is you can turn yourself around on the mat. Put your legs straight out in front of you. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Take your right sole of your foot and put it on the outside of your left thigh. So you have this nice long spine here. And take your left elbow and put it on the outside of your right knee. You want your hand nice and straight, fingertips pointed up toward the sky, and then just use the pressure from your elbow into your knee to twist your body around, sending your gaze over your right shoulder. So just twisting here. You can use your breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Good. Coming back into center here, we're going to do the other side. So we'll take our left foot on the outside of our right thigh and take our right elbow on the outside of our left knee. Again, you have this nice straight fingertips here. Your left hand is behind you. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, use your breath to twist your body, sending your gaze over your left shoulder. Good, just twist it out. Again, you can stay here for a few breaths if you'd like. And then coming back to center, we're going to bring our feet back in front of us, coming into this nice staff pose. Now, the last one that I'm going to show you is we're going to work our way onto our hands and knees. So on our hands and knees here, your hands are shoulder distance apart. Your knees are hip distance apart. And from here, you're just going to rise that right hand up toward the sky. Open your chest, feeling this twist and this opening of your chest here. On the exhale, you're going to come back down. Inhale your left hand up toward the sky. Twist your body. Really open your chest here. And exhale, come back down. Again, you can do that a few times, or you can hold each side for several breaths. So I hope this helps you twist it out, and thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.
Created to love.